Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 117. What's a Hoosier? How's everybody doing today?
Can't complain.
Shalom, shalom, everyone.
Exhausted.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, two of us were at B-Sides Charm this last weekend. Had a good time there.
Yeah,
Got a lot of good vape juice too.
there's a lot of good vape shops in the Maryland, D.C. area.
Well, the shops I didn't even go with. Understudy 77, I believe the name was. I don't remember the exact year number. By the way, it's not like we reveal information about what year you were born usually. I remember this one girl I remember meeting in the late 90s. She went by the handle Mindy18 online. I was like, egads, you got to get so many people creeping on you.
From my understanding, girls in general who list their age around that kind of range always have guys creep on them.
Yeah,
Probably.
Oh, I need to message Tux in here if I can. I don't think he's on any normal chats. I'll find him. But
Like, hey, baby, ASL. Anyways, go ahead. I was making a shitty joke.
all good. Yeah, whenever people start saying cyber this, cyber that, I just can't help but think of like talking dirty to people on AOL. Not that
And IRC.
not that I ever did anything like that, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I was vaping up a storm this last weekend. Have to get one of my tanks fixed up because it's constantly leaking, and I thought I had everything screwed in right. Took it by the vape shop, looks right. I don't know if I got an O-ring busted on it. That sounded vaguely sexual. I just don't know. Looking forward to B-sides. I keep saying B-sides because so many events I go to are B-sides. NolaCon's coming up. And I also recently got me a patch to piss people off.
Which one?
Oh, it's the thin blue line American flag, also known as the Blue Lives Matter flag. There's someone online who said something. They'd scream like a banshee if they saw that on a security person at a conference. I'm not a security person, but I can give one to a security person, I suppose. I mean, before history fair about that, and they said it has ties to fashion. That ties to fashion. No,
Well,
like,
you can make it worse and actually employ an off-duty cop as a security person and have them wear that patch.
if I had the money, that would be fine because they have more experience. But if I can get anybody who's former security to be, all right. Well, I won't announce names yet, but yes, I am planning a con in the on the southern Indiana side of the Louisville metro area. I'm not going to announce the name yet because I don't have various things purchased yet, so please don't blurt it out. Actually, I have everything purchased, but there's some social media stuff I'd like to set up before I announce the name. But I already have one key speaker or one possible keynote speaker lined up, and also at least one person who wants to help sponsor. I'm not sure how much sponsorships should cost, but hopefully it'll be fun. I'm going to go on Monday to see the venue, and I'll probably take some video of it to show you guys in one of our private chats. Should be two tracks. Hopefully there's room for like vendors to set up stuff, and it'll be 2 levels, one upstairs and a downstairs. There's no escalators, but that I would recall seeing. But there's also not going to be nearly as many people. I'm aiming from 200 to 300 people. I did a poll online, and we'll talk more about that later on. But that seems to be part of the sweet range for what people think is manageable, or is a good amount to have, Well, we don't have a breach report for this week, because no one added one. So nothing must have been breached at all this week.
No, nothing ever gets nothing. A 7-day period, nothing is breached. That's you know that hasn't happened. Something somewhere has gotten breached. We can go a week without the breach report though, or just someone look at Google News and just Google hack sort by date, and just pick the past 50 articles.
Thought I saw some article today.
Let me actually go to the YouTube feed. You know, since we have so little, this would be a great time for a question and answer session. Anybody wants to ask questions? You guys talking about Hooters triggered. We were talking about Hooters? Oh, Hoosiers. I think he's mistaken.
Hoosier.
Hoosier is not a dirty word.
It's an esoteric word, but it's not a dirty one.
Huh?
And contrary to what I initially thought, it is not Canadian. It is not a Canadian word either.
Yeah, Section 31X is saying a Hoosier is another name for a Ku Klux Klansman, an old school term. That is the first time I've ever fucking heard that.
I've
never heard that.
I've
either.
never heard that. I've just heard it as slang, as someone from Indiana.
Now, my understanding back in the early 20th century, yeah, Indiana was a major center for a lot of Ku Klux Klan activity, but no, I've never heard that one before.
What was their name again?
Section 31X. They're in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, Section 31X. I think you're flying on your own right there. I really don't know.
He's got a link apparently. So yeah, go ahead and post it. Post the link if you can. If you have to obfuscate it so I can actually get it, let me know.
I will say this. I mean, that's obviously not going to be a commonly accepted term. If we look at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office test database, there's a ton of registrations for Hoosier and variations of Hoosier. So, I mean, I wouldn't imagine that being common parlance.
Our basketball team is sometimes referred to as the Hoosiers, and of course, there's a Hoosier hardware nearby me, and I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people using that term, just a generic term for someone from Indiana. I've heard multiple origins for why it's called a Hoosier. One is it's the sound someone makes when they get thrown into the waterfront after being thrown out of a bar, something along those lines. It's a whoosha. I also heard there was a guy who hired a bunch of people, and his last name was Hoosier. A lot of people from Indiana. I don't remember if he ran boats on the river or what. And I've also heard there was a lot of bar fights, and people get their ear cut off, and someone would go pick it up and go, "Whose ear?" I don't have no idea which is the actual true origin of the name Hoosier. I have to do some research on it.
Google has this one cool tool that mentions that shows on a timeline when a word was first used in text that they have archived, and apparently it started becoming used frequently around 1840.
Cool. Yeah, back then I imagine Corden was still the state capital of Indiana.
Peak usage was in 1947.
Does it say anything about the etymology?
No, not on this. It's just a graph of showing when it would have appeared in text that they have archived. Now, if we look at Wikipedia, which we'd have to check the sources on that, it does mention, okay, the term Hoosier's Nest appeared in Indianapolis Journal's carrier address on January 1st, 1833. So the 1840 time of when it started to be used more commonly, that lines up with that. Still looking.
I'm trying to think, when did Indianapolis actually become the capital? I'll have to look that up. Because way back in the day, it used to be Corden, which is that's maybe a 30-minute drive from me.
So there was a poem popularized. The author was John Finley in 1833. The poem was called "The Hoosier's Nest."
Oh, it looks like I was wrong about. I thought Corden was a capital for much longer, but apparently it was the state capital until 1825. So Indianapolis has been the state capital for a long fucking time. Yeah, Indianapolis is kind of laid out more grid-like and was more designed to be central. Corden is kind of way on one end of the state. Like I said, it's not too far from Louisville, Kentucky. They also have a drugstore that a lot of people go to travel to, just to get a picture taken with the sign that says "butt drugs." I
don't see any reason not to.
The person who has that stupid dog in chat, he said, "I smell my farts. You need to go. If you smell your farts daily, I would recommend going to butt drugs to see if there's anything you can do about that." So Caprico, do you have any breach report stuff?
None off the top of my head. We'll say for Sorry, hang on a second. For vulnerability, today, I'm just going to briefly mention this. Apache Tomcat had a CGI vulnerability released. You can, in version 7, 8, and 9, make a call to the /CGI bin, and if you do a URL encoded ampersand and then a command prompt, and this only affects Windows devices, dir, you actually get the directory of where the user, or directory listings of where the web server is located. So in essence, you get command prompt execution, which could in turn lead to full compromise via like a Empire payload. So that's all I have to add.
Oh, I found the article about a breach. I'm posting it into the show notes that I saw today. The job recruitment site Ladders, which specializes in people in the high-end sector, they had 13.7 million user records exposed, and that was reported today. They left an Amazon Elasticsearch database exposed with no password.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I just posted the link to the article there if y'all want to check that out. But they've already pulled it offline. They stated that it is secure and it was only accessible by Ladder employees at a specified IP address. And of course, you know, they're going to look into it, yada, yada, yada.
Yep, that's full PII breach too. So, because you've got...
It mentions their security clearances also, if they had one.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yep, so you're not only burning them, but you've also burned a lot of other people's clearances, which is probably how they're making money.
Well, it's funny that they mentioned that, oh, it was only accessible by Ladder's employees from a specified IP address. Well, then how to get discovered by the GDI Foundation?
Bro.
That doesn't make sense.
That's not good. Yeah. For everyone listening at home, go to Shodan and just put in Elasticsearch, and you'll see this a lot. No one really. There's a lot of people that don't configure Elasticsearch correctly. Especially
one
on
of those
like
people, Ladders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, what's interesting about Shodan 2 is you can actually see how many data nodes are there as well, because it does some weird tree algorithm stuff that I learned in college, but I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever, never going to use that ever again. But yeah, you can see that, so who knows? And there also is a version of Elasticsearch out there. I think it's their front end for it. It's ES50, I think, is the version of it. And there's a Metasploit module where you can actually input shellcode into the log, and then you can do a local file injection to bring in the log file and create a reverse shell back to you.
Nice.
More fun stuff. So, but this was just lazy and they didn't have a password. So like creme de la creme of very lazy. But hey, now their competitors also know who they have.
Yep.
So, I guess the next thing I have up on my list is a B-sides charm wrap up. I had a good time because most B-sides don't go 2 days, and this one does go for 2 days, which is kind of nice. You know, it gives me more video to record for one thing, and Usually things are a little bit more laid back as far as time because I ended up getting there on a Friday night. Before actually, shit, man, I got there Friday morning now that I think about it. And had plenty of time to set up. We were running late on a few things. Only video snafu we really had. I had one video I had to take down. She didn't want it up, apparently. Let's see. Had one where we didn't get the splitter to work in time. By the way, this output on projectors, the VGA out, sucks. Almost universally, everyone does something weird to the output where it skews where things are. And the quality kind of, I don't know what they're doing. Also, most projectors don't have an HDMI back out. Why do they have? I know the electronics is more complicated, but you'd think they'd include an HDMI out for an extra monitor on some of these projectors, but they don't seem to. I've never seen one with an HDMI out. Does anybody?
No.
It's neither here nor there, but things went off pretty well. They were in a pretty nice little Sheraton hotel with a pond outside with fishies in it, little like goldfish, like the whole Oriental pond thing. Inside they had a ton of events, 2 tracks.
Koi pond?
Koi pond, is that the term?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're like the little like koi fish. They're like the big mouth.
They're pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, koi pond.
Okay. That was pretty cool. And let's see what else was going on. They had an IoT village. They had several different makerspace type people set up upstairs, getting some publicity. Of course, a CTF, a lockpick village, a movie room, which we sometimes use for streaming keynotes and such. And generally just good hangout space. And there was a whole bunch of us outside vaping our heads off. And the understudy gave me some pretty good vape juice. I liked the stuff he made. Strangely enough, the weirdest one, the weird one I really, really liked was a cactus margarita. Yeah, I don't know. It was good though.
That sounds like very interesting flavor. I would like to smell that one day.
I know a couple guys that have something similar to that they make.
I'll breathe it in your face at some point in time.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh, and see, video got up. I got a video up, and I got it in the show notes about some of the stuff going on behind the scenes. I didn't get a good chance to interview any of the organizers, but I should have tried harder earlier in the day. But at the end, people were running around, and I didn't get it done. Oh well. And I don't know. Only Liz, you have anything to say about B-Sides Charm?
Maybe this is a reflection of how few conventions been to, variety wise. But the one thing that struck me most about B-Sides Charm is it's a lot smaller than the conventions I normally go to.
It's crazy though. I thought they still had I'm not sure what the number was, but didn't they have 800 people or so?
I forgot the number. Forgotten mentioned a number of people, but I'll be honest, I completely forgot what he said.
Yeah, the flow wasn't bad at all.
I mean, it was fun. I had a better time than I was expecting to have. Not that I was expecting a bad time, but I enjoyed myself. That said, during their Saturday night party,
I'm in the process of
hello.
I just kind of
It's hard to hear you, Charles.
Yeah. I'm in Chicago. Hey guys.
There we go. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Gonna give me some good deep dish.
Nice.
I had to chime in and talk to my compadres and Dreyettes.
Glad to have you here, Charles.
It always feels good to be online. Ow! How's everybody's Wednesday?
Uneventful.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Uh-oh, is that bad?
Let's just say I've had nothing to do for about a month.
Nothing to do for about a month?
at work because clients are being weird. but that's okay.
It
But then
happens.
I just got an email saying that I have to from my university saying that that one class that I've been trying to talk about with that needs to get filled and completed for the last month and a half. Yeah, if you don't have that done by Friday, it goes as a non-complete or an F on my grade, and I'm like, oh no.
Don't do it.
So
Make sure you get it done.
my ass just called everyone. Yeah, so
I don't blame you.
if that happens, I am going to raise hell and then the underlayer of hell, if that even exists.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't confirm. Yeah.
Cappy not happy.
We got to get Cappy back to being happy.
Whatever. Anyway, that's my day. Anyway,
Okay.
what were you saying, Israel? Liz, about besides Charm not being the same as like the bigger cons you went to?
Yeah, what happened to B-Sides Charm, man?
No, nothing. It was just I honestly expected it to be bigger than it was. Not a complaint. I was just surprising. The one thing I will say a bit of complaint. The Saturday night party. At least I forget the name of the band. It was the second band playing. That he can't rap. He can't rap worth a damn. I was with someone there, and the decision was, should we get another drink or should we just go to the nearby PF Chang's? And the decision was based on, we just later on, we just were trying to think about it. And then he started singing, and we came to the conclusion that no amount of alcohol would have made him sound good.
Wow, that's crazy.
Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. It could have just been the song because I think it was the last song of his lineup, and he started out strong. Then again, it's kind of hard to mess up the DuckTales Moon theme. But the last song he had was just, oh my god, he needed to go with anything else.
Oh, but Crito says he really liked the
I couldn't hear that. What did you say, Adrian?
Someone's talking. I'm hearing sound from somebody.
Charles, I think you have some feedback.
Oh, okay. Crito said that he enjoyed the How to Start a Cyber War lecture.
How to start a what war?
A cyber war.
Oh yeah. It kind of reminds me. Occasionally, I like to listen to speeches of what policymakers think the hacker world is like. And a few years ago, I listened to one of the public speeches made by some people from the Atlantic Council about DEF CON. And speakers were very uncomfortable with one of the DEF CON talks, which, I forget the exact name, it was themed around how do you take over a country, hacker style. And people at the Atlantic Council were extremely uncomfortable with that talk, but and they didn't really quite understand why anyone would want to talk about that as something something fun to listen to. I need to dig up that talk. That was a fun listen.
Sounds fun to me.
I mean, yeah, it's like a power fantasy / morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out focus for my conference. And because of the name, I'm thinking, and not saying the name yet because I need to register a few more things. But I'm thinking maybe base it on a somewhat threat intel, but I don't know much about threat intel. But I'll probably accept any kind of red team talks, any kind of blue team talks, anything interesting.
All right.
I already got Rick. Ricky has volunteered to help head up security.
Hey, Adrian, you going to ThoughtCon?
No, I'm not going to ThoughtCon.
Have you ever done video at ThoughtCon?
No, they don't do video. That's what I heard.
Oh, they don't. Okay, I was wondering why.
Huh.
Yeah, I went one time for B-Sides Chicago, and part of the deal was I got to crash at the organizer's place, and I got me an extra day's time so I could go visit Sue at the Field Museum. Sue is the big T-Rex they have at the Field Museum.
Gotcha.
Oh, someone in the chat, was it Section 31X, was asking if you're from Chicago. I know you're not, but I didn't know if you wanted to say where you're from.
Is somebody on the chat from Chicago?
No, Section was asking if you're from Chicago, Charles.
Oh no, I'm not from Chicago. I'm originally from New York.
And there you go. I don't have anything else to say about B-Sides Charm. I'm gonna put Capricorn in a spot about a different con here shortly. You got anything else to say, Live Beef?
So what's the next hacker con? What's the next con you're gonna do?
NOLA Con.
When's that coming up? Next weekend?
No, it's not quite next weekend, but it is within short order. Let me look into my show notes and not show notes, shit. My list of hacker cons.
Got no other commentary other than if I get a chance to go next year, I think I would look forward to it.
Yeah, no, look, cool beans. Yeah, NOLA Con is May 17th through the 19th. And I need to talk to Southwest because they're supposed to refund my ticket, but it looks like they refund me into their own private stash for future use. And I'm like, I'd rather have the $400 back.
Wait, what happened to Southwest?
I scheduled the wrong fucking date. I misread things, and I got them flipped around. And I ended up arriving too late and leaving too early.
Wait, so
my fuck up. It was my fuck up. It was my fuck up.
Okay.
Hey, Adrian, I got one more question. How was
Ukanos? How was Rob Simmons' talk at B-Side Charm?
Whose?
Was that even?
How was it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was at B-Side Charm, Baltimore.
Yeah.
I watched only like the first couple seconds of any of the talks, man.
Yeah, he's busy recording.
I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is one of my good friends.
Yeah, Irongeek. Appreciate everything you're doing, man.
Oh, no problem, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but if he let us record it, it should be up there. Have you watched it yet?
Have you watched the talk yet?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it.
Yeah, he watched a bit of it.
I watched the version from Carolina.
And he watched some Carolina Con as well.
Oh yeah, that happened at be about the same dates as Charm. Actually, there was one or two people I think came straight from Carolina Con to Charm. There was one guy who mistake. That was
Rob.
Oh yeah, he mistook Carolina Con 15 for April the 15th.
Derby Day Saturday. So, well, we're good.
Yeah,
we good on the video, right?
Yeah, we're good on the video, man.
Hey, I will see y'all there.
And I got to get some marketing stuff made up for something else shortly thereafter. But I'm gonna try to iron out some.
Our con. Yay!
Yeah, and I'll send you the video of the venue so y'all can look at it and tell me what you all think. But if I want to do it on the Indiana side of the river,
okay,
it's probably the best hotel to do it on the Indiana side of the river. There's not any mega hotels, in my part of Indiana. I guess there is one that might be bigger, but it's not quite where I want it as far as scenery and food selection. I like a con where you can walk out and eat and quickly grab a bite to eat and then get back to the con. All right, I guess that brings me to the next con we're going to have a recap on, because my understanding is our dearly beloved Caprico was at B-Sides KC. But he's muted. Oh, we'll have to go back to him later on because Caprico is apparently indisposed at this particular moment. So let's go through the chat and see what people have left behind. Let me see. The holes in EU security are shocking. That's from Critico. Whiskey Foxtrot Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. This puts a question mark. How to overthrow a government. That's what he's reference to. You can download it from Pirate Bay, but the show. Oh, never mind. That was something about a different show. Hey, Adrian, Israel, Charles, and everyone else. And because okay, hi Jason, and let's see, and more talking about a show. All right, I don't have anything else in the chat. Let me go back to the show notes and see if I have anything else I can BS about for a bit. Oh, by the way, what exactly is going on with Malware Tech Blog? Because I understand he entered a plea agreement, and people are like, bitching each other on Twitter about whether or not you should support him, you shouldn't support him, all this. I don't really give a shit. I know I am blocked by him now. I think that's because more than anything of who I follow, and also who else I block. I don't know.
So Malware Tech Blog was found guilty. I don't forget the specific charge. Sorry, he pleaded guilty.
Yeah, he pled.
He pled guilty to writing a component of a banking malware to Kronos malware, I believe, some years ago. And I don't know what his final sentence, jail time will be. He pled guilty to that, and because the InfoSec community is now about 30% Boy Scout, we have people saying, it doesn't matter if he saved lives by stopping very virulent ransomware strain that was targeting hospitals. He broke the law, and therefore he should be, go to jail. No sympathy to that vicious lawbreaker. And the other hand, you have people saying he fucking saved lives. I'm sure you can tell by the language I'm using. My side of the whole, what I believe about this whole thing. Last I saw about this all, Malware Tech Blog made a public statement apologizing for his part in the making part of Kronos. And it's still not quite clear to me why there was any jurisdiction in the U.S. As my understanding is, Kronos largely targeted non-U.S. systems. But
the interstate commerce clause, if it even used anything remotely related to the U.S., they can get involved.
So, while it's not a high bar for it to have targeted a U.S. system, I mean, it must have targeted a U.S. system somewhere for them to have had any jurisdiction on it. I just don't recall anyone ever talking about that.
If, for instance, even if they infected a machine and literally the file was synced to an infected file was synced to Google Drive, it has now affected interstate commerce. It's really easy to get federal jurisdiction.
Basically, as long as it crosses state lines, it's now federal.
So, I mean, I find it hard to believe that language is true, because that would imply if BGP routed it over to the East Coast, so from the UK to the East Coast back to the UK, just in normal transit of traffic, even if one of the endpoints wasn't in the US, you're saying that would still fall under the Interstate Commerce Clause, even if there was no US victim?
That's how the NSA justifies scooping up a lot of U.S. data, because the data gets moved from data center to data center. In some cases, they're foreign, thus that subjects it to foreign communication.
I'm hesitant to. Go ahead.
But just like they would say that to justify, something that would normally take a FISA warrant, they would say it affects interstate commerce. Just like a lot of people think, if you produce a machine gun within the state that you're in, you possess that machine gun, and this has happened, people will say that doesn't affect interstate commerce because it hasn't crossed the state line.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they'll still get you.
No, they have, actually. There's a guy in Kansas who went to jail because he made a suppressor there and didn't pay the NFA tax. But I mean, the Supreme Court has actually ruled several times that even if components of it are made in interstate commerce, and the whole thing could be effectively interstate commerce. And it doesn't even have to be that case. It can just affect interstate commerce. So, yeah.
Well, untested NSA or poorly tested NSA legal theories aside, and it's unquestionable if many of the legal theories will ever be tested. What I don't know. I'm generally I'm bitching about me not having read the actual court documents because almost any kind of question I'm asking right now must
I got
be
a
in the court
Pacer
documents.
account. I could pull them up.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find out like what the FBI, what actually caused the U.S. to have jurisdiction over this, I
Yeah.
am really curious.
I can look that up for you right now.
Oh, and I do know that. Oh yeah, these actual very very last thing I read about all this is one of the New York Times editorial board, the new hire, the one that had a bit of controversy over her. She did write an article essentially asking Trump to pardon Marcus or Malwaretech blog because what he did, he saved lives. Don't think that really got any traction, and it's kind of a shame because it would be nice if he did get clemency. Is clemency the right word to use here?
Clemency, yeah, I guess, or a pardon.
Yeah, it would be nice, and it would also be a good, a bit of a fig leaf to the hacker community because this, like I've mentioned in prior streams, the DOJ has made efforts to try to repair their image or build any kind of image that's not malicious to the hacker community. And this obviously has not been a positive development.
So in the relevant terms on his indictment, they go to define protected computer as a protected computer was a computer in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce or communications, including a computer located outside the United States that is used in a manner that affects interstate or foreign commerce or communications of the United States.
Okay, of the foreign commerce of the United States,
That's how they asserted jurisdiction.
Do they mention what specific computer? Because now I'm
No, they not in the. I'm looking at a redacted version of the sealed indictment, and they don't name there's a second defendant that they have redacted out of it. Let me look at some of the superseding documents.
Supposedly, the second defendant was one of the other people involved in Kronos, and he kind of ratted out Marcus, Malwaretech blog. That's my understanding of it. And that the other person, it's unclear what has or what will happen to him.
Let's see here. Party search.
I find it a little disconcerting to have, affecting foreign commerce unless there is a U.S. nexus.
Wow, there's a lot of Marcus Hutchins.
Yes, there are. That's a pretty common name from my understanding.
Yeah. That's interesting. 217. MJ. Here he is. Oh yeah, that's funny. In the case title, it even says malware tech. Who would have guessed? All right. History. Wow, 125 documents have been filed in the case. I'm trying to figure out which one to pull. Let's go with this. Transcript.
Hmm.
Uh,
So yeah,
200
Pacer.
Whoa. 222 pages is the transcript length for just one of the hearings.
Yeah, and
I will
it's,
get back to you guys on this.
it's plausible that
Later.
if if Malwaretech blog had several extra $100,000, that the case might still be going on, but the InfoSec community's financial support, unfortunately, was not generous enough to overcome the DOJ's ability to overpower financial support.
Now, how much support did he get? Like, how many? Didn't they have a GoFundMe for him or something?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They had a
The numbers I
couple.
saw.
Sorry.
The numbers I saw tossed around, and again, I don't really recall the GoFundMe since it was years ago. The last numbers I saw were when I saw like around 100 grand. Is what he got, I believe. At least that's what I heard cited.
Yeah, I was never involved in a legal issue of that size, though, so I'm not sure how much lawyers would cost.
That'll cover quite a bit. 100 grand will cover quite a bit for that much.
But if it's, and I'm sure there was probably some pro bono work there, but court costs can encompass more than just lawyers' time.
All right. Do we have Caprico back yet?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I had to go make a couple more calls and message a few more people just so that they're aware of the situation, because I literally just have about 6 or 7 people about ready to pounce on this guy to get this done.
Well, good luck with your degree and all that.
This needed to be done last summer. That's how dumb this was. Anyway.
I need to get my motivation to study some shit on my own. I've been thinking about getting one of those little Raspberry Pi, Pi Zeros, W's, and see out of them.
Yeah, I actually built out very limited built out. But I built, and I discussed it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, a small Raspberry Pi tablet that I can just plug network cables into and be like, hey, I'm on the network, that's compromised. There you go. Take a picture of it, walk away when I'm on physicals. It's awesome.
I need to take probably some advice from you later on about the best components for a project I have, but it's a super stupid, simple project. I basically want to just make an HDMI signal generator. Basically, I want the simplest thing that's battery powered that I can quickly hook up at cons to go, okay, is the feed working?
Oh, just like a tester?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that with my build, actually. You could take a Raspberry. Actually, what I built is perfect for you because it's just got a touch screen. You have a static screen up there with Raspberry Pi, or with the Raspberry Pi booted up, and just plug in the HDMI cord into the back of the Raspberry Pi, see if it duplicates the screen, and then it's like, okay, cool, it's good, and then just walk away.
Yeah, I could probably even be simpler than that because I don't need a full touchscreen or anything. I need to be able to pull maybe a couple different test patterns up using button presses, and I need it to have a battery built in.
Battery built in? I don't have that, but you can run it off external battery.
Okay, I was like, does anybody make a case that has like a small LiPo battery built into it? That would be.
Not yet. I'm going to be working on a 3D print design to hold one of those.
Cool.
Yeah, some way to just have like a little snap-on thing, but I'm very new to 3D printing, so we'll have to see what that is. And I don't have a 3D printer anyway, so I don't know.
And the thing I was going to ask you about is we talked about B-Sides Charm. the same weekend though, besides KC was happening, right?
Yeah. So besides KC was this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't a 2-day con. It was just I guess technically it was 2 days. You had Friday, which is when all the trainings happened, and I did the OSINT training that was there. So so they had basics of OSINT and advanced OSINT concepts. I did both of those. Wanted to just see if there was anything different that I was missing in the basic and then the advanced. Found some cool stuff that I'm probably going to end up scripting anyway and then forgetting about. But and then the next day was pretty fun. I basically lobby conned the entire thing. So if you were going to ask me if the talks were good or not, I can't say because I didn't go to any.
Did anybody record them?
Yes, they did have people recording them. I do not have a link for them, but I bet I can get a link to them in about 2 seconds here. They are not up yet.
Why not? It's been more than 24 hours.
I don't know. I am not a part of any sort of the management other than at the after party I was handing out free booze. So that was it.
Yeah, you did a noble deed, I guess.
I brought people together with free booze. Yeah, so all of it was pretty fun. Got to meet a bunch of cool people. And if you were at B-Sides KC, yeah, I was the guy that was handing out booze and had like Edward Scissor Shots hands where I had little shots of vodka in between all my fingers. A lot of fun, a lot of cool people. Yeah, I'm excited for Sec KC now because I met a lot of people that go to that too, which is the monthly meetup that's actually 10 minutes away from I live. So, a lot of cool stuff.
How far is KC away from? I'm bad at geography. How far is KC away from St. Louis?
About 100-ish miles, I think. I think it's about a 2 or 3 hour drive. St. Louis. But yeah, it's on the other side of the state. Well, okay, so I'm in Kansas. So for me to drive there, let's see. I think it's about for me to drive there from Kansas City, it's about 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, so you basically just get on Highway 70, which is probably the highway that you're most familiar with. Adrian. Wait, no, you're in Kentucky. How's Kentucky? There it is.
Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky, almost. I'm actually from Indiana. But Section 31X is asking, do you like doing OS work, OS int work, using Maltego, stuff like that? See, that's one of his questions.
I've never used Maltego. I usually stay away from any GUI base, just in general.
I use Maltego all the time.
Yeah, so Rolo will have a better answer for this.
He's also asking about pulling up a screen share of the court documents. I'm not sure which court documents specifically to look at. That would be EGAS, dude. Reading through court documents could be pretty fucking boring unless you have some children's route with someone you dislike.
Yeah, court documents are boring. They're extremely boring.
Yeah. The ones you really need to worry about are the transcript and the charges files. That's it.
Now, I was looking through some more of it, and some of the stuff that caught my eye, linked with another big thing that the Department of Justice and the FBI had a crackdown on. So apparently the Kronos malware was advertised on the Alpha Bay forum, which was a successor to the Silk Road.
Yep.
And they had a big deal with that because there was narcotics coming into the country based off sales there. So they would identify, saying, well, you made the service or you offered and advertised this malware to people that or had reason to believe were in the U.S. and made it available to them, and that's how they probably justified the foreign commerce and interstate commerce nexus.
The section points out that you can also learn a lot. You learn how to avoid mistakes in court documents, and also says that you can find out who is ratting the court documents.
Sometimes they don't redact nearly as well as they should, or they'll make a redaction in one document in the actual case, and later on they won't. You can come to reasonable conclusions sometimes, and I mean, eventually, if you have the right to face your accuser, if somebody's narking you out and you don't cop a plea, you're going to get the chance to face them if their testimony is going to be used, because you have a right to cross-examine them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is unless
So maybe
the prosecution makes a parallel reconstruction of what the narc gave them, and they're able to prove that without the use of the informant or cooperating witness's testimony. Then you won't end up having to actually have the right to face your accuser, because they'll have the information from something else. Now, granted, they may not have learned that if not for them, but if they obtain it legally, it'll be fair game.
Sounds like you've done more legal work than I have.
Well, that's what my background's kind of in.
So I'm not quite clear to me how again do they justify the U.S. jurisdiction? Like what specifically was the justification there? You assume?
I'm going to assume because they offered it for sale on Alpha Bay, and there was people on Alpha Bay who was, for instance, now even though it's not the same, it wasn't purchasing the malware, but there was people on Alpha Bay who purchased narcotics from Alpha Bay or a vendor on Alpha Bay and have them shipped to the U.S. I guess you could rule that out and say, well, what if you blocked anybody from the U.S. from using that service? Then you could say, well, no, that's not affecting the interstate and foreign commerce with the United States. But if a U.S. resident had the ability to access that system and make an offer to purchase that malware, Kronos in specific, then that's what they would say the nexus is. Am I saying that's correct? No, but the feds will always find a way.
So you're saying that because because it was made of the malware itself that MalwareTech blog wrote a component of was made available on Alpha Bay.
And U.S. citizens could access and get it from there. Yeah. I know it's shaky in my opinion too, but
I have a very difficult time believing that could fit the already overbroad logic of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Again, I'm not a lawyer. You could very well be right here, but I mean, and I have heard some prosecutors say their entire argument against hackers is they could have done damage with this access, therefore we need to punish them as if they did do the damage. And so your logic you're putting out is I can't confidently say that's not believable, but
I'm not saying it's the right thing. I am talking from as if I was a federal employee, which I used to be. That's how they would try to justify it. They would say this absolutely was marketed and it could have been used. It was made available. If I made an offer, let's put it like this. If I offered hitman services, if I offered to kill someone for money, and I made it to where a U.S. citizen could bid on that and could pay me to perform that service, you're damn right the FBI would take jurisdiction.
Right, but would you be charged for murder if no murder actually happened?
No, you would be charged with conspiracy.
Right,
and show defense.
The charge here, my understanding of the charge was a CFAA charge, but
let's see here. Count one is a conspiracy charge.
Okay, then maybe I misunderstood things then.
Conspiracy to do what?
Scroll back up here. go through this. Conspired to commit an offense against the United States, namely to knowingly cause the transmission of a program, information, code, and command as a result of the conduct, intentionally causing damage without authorization to 10 or more protected computers during a 1-year period. All in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Sections 1030, and I could read all that off, but I'm not going to. But yeah, it's a conspiracy charge, an inchoate offense.
So there was no CFAA charge, or that's like, well, there were multiple charges against him.
Correct. There's that. That's the first conspiracy charge. Count 2 is they're saying he did disseminate. By electronic means, an advertisement of any electronic, mechanical, or other device, knowing and having reason to know that the design of such device renders it useful, primarily useful, for the purposes of surreptitious interception of electronic communications, knowing the content of the advertisement, and having reason to know that such advertisement will be transported in interstate and foreign commerce in violation of Title 18 U.S.C. Sections 2512, 1C, 1 and 2. Which is merely the offer of the sale.
So, is there a computer fraud and abuse tech charge among all the charges against him?
Let's see.
Let me take a look. Do we have the link? Do we have a link?
Yeah,
I
got it right here. So
yeah, because I was going to share. Notes. Yeah, I was going to share my screen real quick here, and
here you go. I just put it as 7.
7. Copy that. Okay, cool. So I will put this up. Close other tabs because that has some PII on it in the tabs. Love how they put in his malware tech handle. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking for. I was like, there's a lot of Marcus Hutchinson's. Wait a minute. That's when I was looking on Pacer first. I'm like, it says malware tech blog.
Right. All right. Adrian, if you actually click on my icon in the Hangout, it should show everyone in chat my screen.
Okay.
I should have done that from the beginning, but I'm an idiot.
It's okay. I'm dealing with graduation stuff, and now I got enough people. I yelled at enough people that now they're like, okay, cool. We actually have to do all this now. So that's good. Woohoo! Yelling at people. Yay. All right. So what page are you at right now?
I was down on page 3 of 8.
3 of 8. Okay.
Yeah, that's when they get to count 2.
Okay. Overacts in furtherance of conspiracy. In furtherance of conspiracy to accomplish the object and purpose of conspiracy. Created Chronos. Showed how Chronos worked.
Yeah, next page they start count 2. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
That's the advertisement, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Between July 2014 and August 14th in the Eastern District of Wisconsin and elsewhere, blank and malware tech knowingly disseminated by electronic means an advertisement of electronic, mechanical, or other device, knowing and having reason to know that the design of the device renders it primarily useful for the purpose of the surreptitious interception of electronic communications, knowing the content of the advertisement, and having reason to know that such advertisement will be transported in interstate and foreign commerce. So that reads to me that since they put out a video showing that, hey, we created this malware that then we can give to other people, that they will use it in whatever country, whatever country and whatever means that they want. And since it was an advertisement on Alphabet, which is we covered before, then yeah, that's kind of a conspiracy to sell. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's how they. That's what I gathered from, especially when I looked and I was like, oh well, they had that big crackdown on Alphabet also. Granted, that was over narcotics initially, but
yeah,
That's
another
how they
one.
specified it there.
Yeah, another one a year later. Foreign commerce, knowing that reasons. Yeah, so if you look at the Krebs article, I think so Krebs did a great article on this back in 2015 when this first came up, I think, or was it 2017? One of the two. I think it was 2017. Right after he was arrested at DEF CON, Krebs pulled up a bunch of stuff. A lot of this kind of lines up with that of what Krebs found. So in that Krebs article, they first put out Chronos, and then later on they moved to another platform, and then there was some communications happening with someone else on a hacker forum that supposedly Hutchins was having about changing up the malware to make it look like it wasn't them anymore, or more so that it wasn't like the original Chronos malware. And this was like a year later, which lines up with this date right here. So
Okay.
yeah, so that makes sense to me. And then there's also some pretty poor OSINT that went on. Let me see if I can pull up that article here. Krebs malware tech. Because there was one thing that was like blaringly obvious to me that yeah, that's probably him. And it is, that's the wrong one. Who is, yep. So back in September of 2017. I remember that now. It's right before I turned 20. So yeah, right here, we've got this picture. And this was in a Hotmail cracker that was on the same website. And you can definitely see.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was on the same site where they were, it was Hack Black, or one of the sites that Hutchins was on. And that was back in 2015, I want to say. 2014, 2015. Anyway. But yeah, you can definitely see that he was on that and all that stuff. So this came out like a week afterwards. But he got, or in like a month afterwards. So it took him a month to figure all this stuff out. Which still boggles my mind that he got that quickly, but there's a lot of stuff. But do check out this article too, which was really good journalism. Or at least just knowing a lot of people. And it goes into like what he did before that, and there was like a bot shop. There was another malware that he made called Orgy. You like there's like the Chronos one, yeah, that's what they're hitting him on, but he's done a lot more. Mostly because that one hit a bank in the US, I think. If I'm correct on that. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised they weren't more specific in the indictment, to be honest, but
Probably because they want to hit him with more. So what they probably want to do is they want to hit him with with Chronos first, because they know that they can hit him with Chronos, and if they can link him back to the other ones, so like all of these, like ghosting, Irongeek, like all these different handles that he had, creating all of these bots and whatever, like BV1 and Touch My Malware and all that stuff.
So, my understanding is that it was not exactly a clear-cut legal theory. I mean, it was not clear-cut, or there was no clear precedent beforehand that writing a component of a malware without actually using the malware is a criminal act. As you
Right.
could draw comparisons to all sorts of libraries people create on GitHub and the like, and that are later also happen to be used in some malware.
Right. So you can, to go along with your logic there too, you could in turn say that the creators of Metasploit can be used in a very malicious way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's why it's this gray area. But
I don't know if any precedent came of this case, or I don't really know if the legal system well enough. Did any precedent come from this case?
Not that I've heard being said. I mean, what they're going to go on, what they're going to say is intent. That's why anyone who wrote anything for Metasploit or any other tools that may commonly be used by red teams, they're going to say, well, the intent is not there. Well, I think they're going to argue he had malicious intent.
Right. If you're so like, yeah. So with that, instead of putting it out onto like Alpha Bay or Pirate Bay or any sort of darknet Tor site,
they would say a prudent person would have distributed it in the information security community if that's how it was meant to be used, or through a more legitimate method, as opposed to that. That would be if, for instance, if I was an on the level gun salesman. Well, first off, I'd get my federal firearms license, and I would run it out of a store as opposed to selling them out of the trunk of my car. There's going to be that's going to signify there may be a weird intent. Why am I selling guns out of the back of my car? I mean, now granted, you may do that once or twice, but if you do that habitually, that may signify that there's a malicious intent there. I'm assuming this is what they're thinking.
All right.
$3,000.
I hope that it was worth it for the DOJ to do this, because they have, like I've said before, renewed. They've burnt down a bridge that was being built. It's going to have to be built again.
Oh, they definitely have bigger fish they could be doing, and not be going after this. There's definitely other things they could be doing, and you're right. They've definitely they're going to cause a lot of mistrust with the community. Absolutely.
Well, they've always had mistrust. They've just spent years trying to gain trust, and this is a setback.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've had problems with getting people to work for them, and for multiple reasons, and one of those reasons is trust.
Well, right now they don't trust.
Well, and drug test.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, that's the biggest thing. I can go right now and become a special agent at my local FBI office. They keep emailing me. It's like, no, I don't want to work for you.
Yeah.
And I don't even do it. Like my only thing is nicotine, and that's it. But all right, whatever.
From what from other stuff I do understand, mistrust goes both ways from what I was told, which that's to be expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's a huge amount of shit that we can do. Like at infosec professionals, hackers, and alike. There's a lot of stuff we can do that could make their lives hell, and there's a lot of stuff that they can make our lives hell. So there's the mistrust.
I know, as of several years ago, the list of names that I was told as for who the exact nature of the relationship is unclear to me, but I would just say consult from the InfoSec communities and industry. The names were largely good people, mostly who worked for Rapid7, but there were a few people outside of that as well. So at least several years ago, they had a good list of names and a good list of people who, and he emphasizes to me, we're supposed to be representative of the hacker community.
Well, that's just one company and one methodology.
There were other people aside from Rapid7. Just the majority of the names he listed were people from Rapid7.
Yeah, and mostly there. So I don't know. I've said it about 3 times already, but government is still government. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna. I'm shrugging in real life, so I hope you can feel the shrug. But
I know. Also, in addition to that, there was also Katie Mo, and I'm gonna brain fart in his name. Conservative on Twitter, hacker. Usually really smart, but often contrarian. Does not like the EFF.
Who's this? I'm liking this guy. Who is it?
You would not like the guy because he also calls himself a feminist.
Oh shit! Never mind.
I feel embarrassed. I don't remember his name. He's a bit of one. He's an InfoSec celebrity.
You figured out to throw it in the message, the chat. Oh, that's right. Right. The chat that
I have access to one chat.
I can see it there.
Shit.
Man, all the rock stars, they're all turning fed on us. They're all going blue.
It's with the exception of Katie Mo, I'm not aware of any of them actually having worked for the feds. It's what I was last told about that kind of agreement. It was originally a group of people that was consulted with, but then the last thing I heard was people they met up with at a bar to discuss things. So it's kind of it's again, the exact nature of the relationship is very unclear to me.
Huh. Funny. Kind of old boys clubby.
I definitely, Katie Mo has mentioned she's been in email chains with some people at the DOJ in terms of there was a proposed law they were shopping around a few years ago, from what I recall her mentioning. I would talk to her at ShmooCon, where one of these side effects could have been effectively outlawing Metasploit. And so she had to tell them that the law they were shopping around, it was something along the lines of making hacking tools available. It would have criminalized use of Metasploit.
And pretty much criminalize the use of our industry as a whole, then.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know if they've added new names since I last got the list of names, but I trust it. As I said several years ago, it was a list of good people, smart, knowledgeable people. I would.
How many years ago was it?
I was told the list of names 3 years ago, I believe.
Okay, so my wonder then is how many of those people have now been added that were ex-NSA ex-NSA employees that left and went into the private sector? Because there was a huge thing a couple of years, and we talked about it about a month and a half ago, I think. A huge move in or migration from the NSA to the private sector because the NSA just couldn't really pay out their employees because of government shutdowns. It was during the government shutdown this year. All right,
the NSA does not count as military, are they?
Nope.
I keep forgetting that. Because I know the military was funded. Because the Washington Post kept saying the military is funded.
Right. So NASA, the NSA, all of those employees during shutdowns, they also don't get paid during government shutdowns because they're
forced to work if they're essential.
Yeah, right.
I've went through it before. It sucks.
And are you a government employee anymore?
Oh hell no.
Exactly. Yep.
Last job was government. I got the fuck out.
Yeah. As I've kept saying, government is still government.
Actually, Ro, I gotta ask, what level were you at?
I was a GS9 when I left. I got out
No,
early.
I meant like federal or state or
Federal. I've been
Federal.
a state employee too, but I've been last go around was federal.
What department?
The SSA of all.
Oh, I used to work for Experian, so we interact with you guys. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a blast.
yeah.
Enlighten me on what SSA is.
The Social Security Administration.
Yep.
Thank you. I live in acronym hell, so I've been doing CompTIA training so I can go get a certification. So I have been in acronym hell.
So,
welcome to government in general.
Yeah,
so
right.
Caprico, you know what TLA is, right?
Don't even right now.
TLA.
I'm blanking, dude. It's been a long
It's
day.
a three-letter acronym.
If we were in the same room, I probably would have smacked you. God. Because I was like, transfer language algorithm. I don't know, man. Just start coming up with stupid
It's been a while since acronyms I have to sometimes look up. One time I wasn't convenient to look up, and someone kept saying SME. And I was like, what the fuck is a SME?
Yeah.
Subject matter expert.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that bothers the fuck out of me when people like not spell out when they enunciate acronyms like that, like they say URL instead of URL. I'm like, no, it's a fucking acronym, not a fucking word. Yeah, some people are so fucking clever to make, backronyms, but stop that shit.
Hey, if you want a ton of that, just go government.
Oh, dude, I'm giving my FFL. I mean, holy crap, you have no idea.
Hey, Darren. Lol.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of FFLs, I couldn't get it today because apparently the system is clogged up for doing background checks. But I'm looking at getting a Taurus PT22 just because I found it in purple, and I just want another little 22 plinker to have around.
Well, hold on. You're in Indiana, right?
Yes.
Do you have a CHL or equivalent?
Yes.
I think that's exempt from NICS.
It depends on the state. In Kentucky, they are, but I don't know about Indiana.
I told them
Ohio
I had
is
a carry license, but they didn't say anything about being able to skip it. So.
Yeah, because like in Kentucky, if you have a concealed permit, they run like at, I don't even know what interval, a NICS check on you, and then they'll revoke it if it comes back. So that's considered, okay to use for a purchase. Now the old school ones didn't have a gold seal on them. The new ones have a gold seal, and it was funny because once they got that program in place, if you had an old one, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to go get a new one. That way I don't have to deal with that. They're like, no, you got to wait till expiration. And I was pissed. I had to wait till expiration.
Oh, nope. Indiana does not. None. I'm actually going to find the ATF website. They actually have the full list for that, thankfully. So I need to bookmark this page because it's going to be useful. But yeah, Indiana is none. So.
Adrian, you can deselect me since we've moved on from the court documents. No, it's okay. I've just had the court document up for a long time, and now we're on to firearms. So keeping track for you, bud.
That's funny. NICS is backlogged.
When are they not? It's the FBI. What do you expect?
Oh, yeah. I've never had a problem, but then again, I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
Cool. I actually have to get my license moved over to where I'm actually living now, so that'll be fun.
Kansas does, so there you go.
Kansas does what?
They have exemptions to NICS.
Yeah, because it's constitutional carry. Is that how?
Well, it's concealed handgun license issued on or after July 1st, 2010 qualifies alternatives to the background check.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah, but I'm actually going to be picking up 1911 from SIG soon-ish, whenever I get all of that stuff figured out. Because that was nice to go shoot.
I know a lot of 1911s are hugely popular, and I have an old 1911, which I tried to restore it to more original handles, grips, and the damn grips I ordered, the damn wood started splitting as soon as I put the screws in.
Lol.
But that sucked. Yeah, it's old U.S. military. But the one I like is it's almost a 1911. It's very much based on the 1911, but it's not. It's a Para Ordnance TAC 4. It has a double stack magazine, so it can hold 13 rounds.
Yeah, the one that I would be getting is single stacked.
Those better because of the grip size.
Yeah. I actually like the one I'm looking at is it's SIG 6 hours M1911 9mm. Just a good planker.
How many rounds does the 9mm hold?
13, and I think it's in a double stack mag or single stack mag, something like that.
13's a lot for a single stack.
Yeah, I don't remember. Hang on, let me look this up.
I'd imagine that's double stack. It'd have to be.
I think I'm being a noob and completely screwing this up. So give me a minute. I think I'm showing my noob here.
I'll race you.
Nah. I think I was running. Is that the match elite or the full size? I think it might have been the full size because that fit my hand perfectly. Magazine. Full size. Where's the magazine size, man? I don't see the magazine size. What does it come with? I don't know. It might have been just I think it might have been 8-round mag if it was single stack. I don't remember. I shot a lot of guns that day. But yeah, super nice. And almost found it. Maybe. No. Let's try this. Mag size. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, not a big deal. I don't know. It shot really nice, and I actually liked it being a lot heavier than some of the other guns because I didn't feel like it was gonna like fly back and hit me in the face with the small guns.
Yeah, I got the PT-22 just because it'd be fun, cheap shooter. I thought it'd be good fun to teach people on. Also, it's supposed to have a metal frame, so it's going to be a little heavier. So 22 a metal frame, that's not going to feel much of anything at all. The one downside to it is you cannot really. I tried to rack the slide. I had a damn hard problem doing it. Apparently it's there's a term for it. Tip barrel, where you can load the 8-round magazine in, and then you put a bullet in the tip barrel and just close it. And it's like double action only. So you don't even have to rack the slide necessarily.
So it's
Beretta made a lot of tilt barrels. Well, not a lot, but they made some tilt barrels. I think that operated like that.
They said it was.
So it's like 8 in the round or 8 in the mag, 1 in the chamber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except in this case, you don't have to put one in the chamber from the magazine and then put another bullet in the magazine. You just flip up the barrel, you throw it in, and you're done.
Weird. Never heard of that. Learned something new today. Apparently the one SIG that I had, you can like rack it back and then throw another bullet in the mag too. The SIG that I was working with. Which I did not do because I'm like, I'm just going to fire off the 8. I think it was an 8-round mag.
Because that brings up the discussion of should you carry one in the chamber or should you rack the slide before firing if you're carrying it concealed?
Always carry the one in the chamber.
Always keep one in the pipe. There's too many things that can go wrong if you're going to try to rack it when you need it.
Yep. Yeah.
But I like the nice rack. Yeah, okay, I see your point.
I mean, not just mechanical problems, but it takes time. Which, if you're drawing and you have to draw fast, you may not have time.
Right. Which I had an issue with that with the Beretta that we were using, like one of those big Berettas, like the ones that cops used to have. I'm trying to remember.
Like the 92s.
Yeah. So it was I think it was a 92, or it was a newer variation of that.
Probably 92 FS.
Yeah, something
Or
like that.
R.
Yeah, something like that. Big freaking gun. It felt nice to shoot, but when you would put a mag in and then you go to pull the trigger, you had to pull it almost all the way back, and then it would load the thing, and you're like, hey, was that supposed to shoot? And then you would be like, okay, let's try this again, and you pull all the way through, and then it fires, and it's like, that is just so, no, I don't want to do that. It's like when I want a gun to fire, I better pull, I want it to fire when I pull the trigger.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Well, that's what revolvers are for. I went by concealed carry. Everything, I think it's everything concealed carry is what it's called in Clarksville today. And one of the guns I was looking at, how do you put it this way? It is as big as my Model 29 from Smith & Wesson. That's a 44 Magnum. But this thing was a 50 caliber. Wait, is it 50 caliber Smith & Wesson?
Oh, 500 Smith & Wesson.
Yeah. Okay.
Hand cannon.
My
Yeah,
gun is longer, but this thing is fucking built like a brick.
It's a little snub nose 500.
Well, I couldn't call it snub nose. It's not nearly as long as a barrel as my 44 Magnum, but my 44 Magnum is damn near a carbine if you put a stock on it. Yeah, but it had a shorter barrel, but it was all built heavy as hell. I mean, I wouldn't want to be clubbed to death by one. Actually, now if you're gonna club me to death, do it with someone to do the job, and I think it'll do the job.
I'd rather be clubbed with it than shot with it.
True.
Because if you hit anywhere with that, like if you get hit in the shoulder or whatever, your shoulder's just gone, and the rest of your arm. Those things pack a wallop.
What did it say? I think I heard this statement originally about. Oh no, it was not the M1 Grand. The M1 Grand kicks a lot. I think it's the Mosin Nagant.
Yes.
Used to be able to get those dirt cheap, and they've gone up in price, haven't they?
That's because they're
Everyone
getting rarer and rarer because they're not being made anymore.
Yeah, and everyone picked one up when they could. They were like, "Oh, cheapest gun on the market. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up." So demand goes up, supply goes down, yada yada yada. Economics.
Yeah, it was basically the Russian Mauser. Or I'm sorry, K98 Mauser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened with the SKS. Used to, you could pick them up for dirt cheap, and as they continued to get bought up, they went up in price.
Yeah, like what was the SKS? How long of a service period did it have?
Very short. It didn't really have much of one. It was only replaced for like 10 years, if that, and then it got replaced by the AK-47.
Yeah, it stuck around for ceremonial use because it's cooler to do drill with, and that's about it.
Yep.
And how long was the Mosin Nagant in place?
About 30, 40 years. Well, actually, in some places, yeah, it's still in use. Like you'll still find it, by belligerents. But
I imagine it makes a hell of a deal rifle too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the statement I heard about.
That's what most of my friends are doing with it.
Someone said about the Mosin Nagant online someplace. It was because fuck you, fuck your cover, fuck the guy behind you, and fuck my shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it packs a punch, especially with that metal butt plate. But I mean, quite honestly, it's not that different than 7.62 NATO 308 Winchester. I mean, to be completely honest, it's the Dragunov. It shoots 7.62 by 54 rimmed. That's what it shoots, is 7.62 by 54 rimmed. 7.62 NATO is 7.62 by 51. Yeah, I mean, it's not that different.
I still want to someone that shoots 308 Win. The question is, do I want to go with a well-reviewed but fairly budget AR-10 from what is it, DPMS or is it DMPS arms?
DPMS.
They seem to have a good one as well reviewed, but the other part of me thinks maybe I should wait to have the money and get an M14.
Get the DPMS. I'll tell you that right now. M14s have a lot of problems now. I mean, no one has been able to make a good one for a while now. They keep having performance issues, things like that. So
I have those problems too. Oh no, that's not what you meant. Never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Tell us about last night, Adrian.
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong song.
I think my dad told me a story about going into a whorehouse in Vietnam. And it was like some Marine went into a whorehouse in Vietnam, and he had a penis that was rather small, and the prostitute said something along the lines, or maybe it was the madam said, "What do you expect to do? Well, who do you expect to satisfy with that?" And he said, "Myself." All right, back to the show notes, maybe. Poll. I did a couple polls recently on Twitter. Apparently, like 32% of the people did not know what a Hoosier was.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, man, it's a very locality specific thing.
I mean, let's count how many people are in the chat here. Who knows what a Hoosier is right now?
Only because Adrian told me after I told him I had no idea what it was.
Yeah. Okay, so there's about 5 people on here, and I do not know what a Hoosier is other than the Indiana basketball team movie and the Indiana team name. That's all I know.
I knew, but I'm from Kentucky, but I'm not from the side of Kentucky that borders Indiana. But
so I think your metrics is pretty sound there.
Yeah, that's not okay. This would be a skill reference. The other thing I asked was, I asked a few questions. This one is an open question, like what things do you want at a con? Because Good Talks is one of the things that came up in the list.
That came up a lot.
Yeah. Some people wanted to also reject troublemakers, because my idea of what a troublemaker is and what some of people's idea of a troublemaker is entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. And I asked about size for a conference. I only had like 4 options, so I had to go with 100, 200, 201 to 500, 501 to 5,000, and 1,000 plus. And 40% of people, which was the largest one, was 201 to 500. About tied for the 100 to 1 to 200 and the 500 to 501 to 1,000. So the sweet spot seems to be around 201 to 500 people.
Yeah, I think the up to 500 people would be dope for it, but also gotta get enough tickets sold for that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like if it's another con, like if you could get like sponsors and stuff like that, get them into it and be like, hey, there's one thing that I didn't see come up, and I just thought of this now, but like job fairs. That would be a good way to bring people in too. So people that are new to security or are looking to get into security or into the InfoSec industry, it'd be good to have that there to be like, hey, here's going to be 500 potential recruits. Sponsor the event, and then you might be able to get some people out of it too. And we'll do a job.
Most people I see sponsoring conferences, though, they seem to be more looking for business than recruits. Like some of these sides of it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, right, but we could preface it by being like, hey, this would be like a recruitment thing. But like, it depends on what your audience is. Do you want to just bring in a bunch of guys that are already in InfoSec, or do you want to bring in the new people? That's my question.
New people suck. No, we only want old schoolers.
Oh, well, then I can't go to it.
We'll accept you as an old man. You say you self-identify as 40, you'll be okay.
If Israel listens to this, he's gonna be like, "No, he's like 3."
But yeah, if somebody's getting feedback on con size, I'm reading through the chat, but does not mean people on this. See, sometimes we have like 15 people if we can show up for a chat, and now we got 4 watching this time.
Oh well, it's a busy time of the year, I think. School's is starting to get out, at least in college. Finals week is next week, so a lot of stuff being planned, a lot of family stuff. I don't know.
I miss some aspects of going to college.
What?
I miss it. I was really good at test taking and studying for, single tasks, when I have structure. I need structure because I'm a very unstructured person. If I'm left only to my own whims.
Right.
All right.
I prefer not taking a test and just saying, here's a bunch of stuff that I did. Grade it.
Gotcha.
Which has now backfired and is what I'm dealing with now. It's like, okay, here's like 3 jobs. Here's my internship. I did 3 jobs in IT. Give me my degree. In 2 different countries, no less. Anyway, what were you about to say, Adrian? Sorry.
Oh, not a whole lot.
Okay, cool. Don't want to be just derailing the podcast.
Well, we're always off the rails.
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, sometimes we actually stay on topic. All right, we got other stuff. And what is this particular justice.gov document?
So that's that document that we were going through when we were talking about Marcus Hutchins.
Okay, I'll move that up underneath his name then.
Yep.
Yeah, I just moved it in there quick. Sorry about that.
Other stuff. I will actually post that Apache Tomcat thing that I briefly mentioned. Vom. Should
While I'm on chat with y'all, I ordered like a basic Raspberry Pi W kit. Just because, sorry, Pi Zero kit.
Huh.
I don't need anything it comes with, but I was like, what the hell? You know.
Oh wait, did I already talk about this? I think I already talked about this one on the cast, or I've seen it before on the cast. I don't remember. But anyway, that's there. If you want to go take a look at it, there is a better write-up on it, and I will put that in the show notes as soon as I find it.
Why the hell is Epic Games sending me emails in, I think, French?
Dang autoplay videos. Weird. Okay, cool. Thought my audio just died. That was fun. All right. Well, Adrian, do you have anything more for the show notes or anyone else to go over for other stuff?
There actually was something I want to talk about. I don't have a link to it offhand, but there was a court ruling that confirmed that fingerprints are not protected. Therefore, they could be used to unlock devices by police without a search warrant.
Whoa!
That had been a court case for a while, but I think a higher court. I can't remember if it was a federal. If I can't remember if it was like a federal court or the Supreme Court.
No, without a warrant.
That's been litigated for quite a while, and it's most courts have ruled that you have no Fourth Amendment protections on your fingerprint.
Right.
I think there might have been 1 or 2 that ruled you did. I may be misrecalling there, but which court ruled this time?
I'm trying to find the article here. Give me one moment.
Which there's a big difference on whether or not that's considered testimonial versus whether or not they can do it without a warrant. There's a big difference between those 2 things. That's without a warrant. That's scary.
Now I've covered.
Well, of course, almost every single court I've said you need no warrant. They need no warrant for that at all whatsoever.
Right. So I've said this before a while back, but if you own an iPhone, and I have to look up how to do it on Android, or if there is a way to do it on Android, but if you own an iPhone and you get in a situation where your phone will be taken away from you and they could force you to unlock it using your fingerprint, and if you have fingerprint identification on it, click the power button 5 times and it will lock your phone and turn off the fingerprint sensor. Small little hack that could maybe help you out, but I don't know. I probably just willingly conspired to give away and advertised a way to.
How'd you say do
it? Press the power button 5 times on an iPhone.
Oh,
that locks the phone down to only being able to be unlocked via a pass or a key code. So a PIN code of some sort.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't ever be forced to recite a PIN code or
Right.
a password because that's
Yeah.
testimonial.
Yeah.
Now, the fingerprint in your face, warrants can be issued to force you to affix your finger to a device or to look at a device.
Well, no,
that
they
can
don't even
happen.
have to do that. They don't have to do a warrant even for a fingerprint because it's just
What?
something that's there.
Well, if they, do you have a specific case where they say they can actually make someone affix their finger to a device?
It's been talked about in certain circles loudly for years how you have no warrant is needed to be able to use a fingerprint to unlock your device.
Yeah, a fingerprint is public information basically because it can be viewed.
Here you go. Here's the answer.
But again, it does depend on jurisdiction.
I can't find the article. Damn it.
I mean, at the end of the
God.
day, you wouldn't want to use a fingerprint or your iris or any other biometric feature. You would want to use something that's clearly going to be protected as testimonial.
Wait, just don't let them know what body part you're putting on the sensor.
Well,
Now,
we'll just press everything to it.
In general, a passcode provides you more enforcement protection in most jurisdictions than a biometric does.
Sorry, hold on.
Videos or care videos.
That was autoplay. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah,
so
in general, a passcode. Go ahead.
Sorry, I did find a way to do it on Android, and I will put it in. I'll actually throw it up on my screen here. So in Android 9, at least, I don't know how old this is, but this is about a year ago now. There is this lock screen preference here, and it has this lockdown option, which then if you do the side scroll, I think, or if you do the power button, it will show, and I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it now.
3XL, I know if you power it off completely, on the very first login, you have to use your PIN. You can't use your fingerprint.
Right. So, I mean, turning it off. Yeah. So if you go in here, display a power option that turns off smart lock, biometrics, unlock, and notifications on the lock screen. So yeah, you can put it into lockdown mode. So I'm going to see how this works now. So I'm going to turn it off, and it should be the same as this here, but I got to do it myself. So if I put it down, so yeah, so if you just want to go turn off your device, you'll get an icon that looks like a padlock with a key in it. Put it in the lockdown mode, and now notifications won't be there, and now you will have to enter your PIN. But that is not a setting that is there by default, where with iPhone, it's a setting that's there by default, where you just click the power button 5 times and it goes into lockdown mode. And you will have
my phone.
Yeah. So there's how you negate that court ruling, boys.
Now I know, like you were saying, when when you power it off on the first boot, it mandates doing a pattern or a password.
Right.
I haven't seen this before though. I want to look at that.
Yeah, so I'll actually put it. I'll put it in the show notes as well. I think it goes over how to do it in iOS in this one as well. Just gonna call it this one. Lock your shit.
Lock and encrypt it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here's the article I was thinking of a while back. 2016. Feds walk into a building, demand everyone's fingerprints to open phones. And
obligatory noni.
Basically, they had a suspicion that someone in a large shared residence owned the phone and just didn't know who it was. So they compelled everyone to try their fingerprints. Which,
so funny enough, there was something similar to this happened, but this got passed when I was in Europe last year. in the Netherlands, at least the district that I was living in, there was elections and like there or whatever, and a bill was being passed, or a bill or a law was being passed or being voted on, and was eventually passed that let authorities and law enforcement and government officials, where there may be suspected internet skullduggery or whatever,
Shenanigans.
Someone using internet or computers in a bad way, that they could trace that address back to the certain sector of the city. So like, I think it was about a kilometer, and then they, or I think it was less than a kilometer. I think it was within 100 meters or something like that. 100 or it was some amount of distance that they would then be able to search your house without warrant, and that passed. People voted for that. You know how weird that is?
Yeah.
And I'm there, and I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea, but I'm gone in like 3 months, so bye. And also, I wasn't doing anything bad. Wink, wink.
But if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Yeah,
Right.
Can I just have your guns then, without warrant? You have nothing to hide and nothing to fear, then you don't need your guns then. It's the same-ish logic, but I don't know.
I have nothing to say, so I don't need a First Amendment privilege.
Exactly. Way better analogy than what I thought.
You know what? That's something, and look, this is going to get too political, maybe. All the Democratic candidates, if anyone even seem to be slightly interested in protecting the Second Amendment, I think some of them would have a much better chance to get some sway some voters away from Trump. But I mean, none of them.
So in general, their Democratic candidates are going to try to appeal to the elites in their party, and let's face it, the Democratic elites, by and large, promote gun control.
Yeah, I know someone who's really what's the term? Rooting for Beto. And to my knowledge, at least listen to some people's comment on him, he hasn't really put much policy forward. And she keeps going, "Oh, I love Beto, I love Beto." And I think she just likes him because he's cute, which has nothing to do with why Tulsi is my favorite candidate on the Democratic side, of course.
Well, it's probably Tulsi Gabbard. That was not the former prosecutor, was it?
No.
No, that's Kamala. That's Kamala Harris.
Tulsi was, I believe, in the Air Force. I can't remember if she was a pilot or I believe she was a pilot, wasn't she?
I don't really know. Either way, I'm fine with most candidates, just not Kamala Harris, and I have a lot of discomfort with Biden's primary commercial supporters.
There's this one far left dude who's also against Tulsi Gabbard. He was one of the guys who calls me all sorts of names and thinks I'm alt-right or something because he's fucking insane. He's also one of the people who, unfortunately, he's a far leftist who apparently is okay with guns, which I kind of like my far leftists to be, anti-Second Amendment. That's a personal stance of mine. Was that?
Are you worried that you combine punching people with guns?
Yes, exactly. Because these people think everybody's a fucking Nazi. But Tulsi Gabbard, she was. I'm looking at it. She's not going to get it though because some of her earlier stances when she was younger, she was involved with some kind of anti-same-sex marriage group. So yeah, she's came out against her former views since then, and not just recently. I mean, way before the presidential campaign, my understanding. But yeah, because of that, if you ever seen comments on her Twitter feed, the far left definitely is not going to vote for Gabbard either.
Well, thankfully, the far left.
So was Hillary back in the day.
So I think so was Obama back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, they both were.
Yeah, like giant curveball. It's just policy by popularity.
Yeah, it is the equivalent of saying I had no strong opinions either way. I was going with the flow, and I went with whatever was politically convenient at the time.
Yeah.
Because most fights are not worth having if you don't think you can make a change.
Or if you think you're not going to get elected. That's the thing that no one gets. It's all about being elected. They will say whatever the hell they will have to get elected.
Okay, I had that totally wrong. It looks like, based on the Wikipedia entry, she was Hawaiian Army National Guard unit. She did a 12-month tour in Iraq, and there was some other stuff. Apparently, served in a field medical unit as a specialist in combat zone with a 29th Support Battalion medical company. So I don't know why I thought she was Air Force, but apparently that was what she was up to. She's very, how do you put it this way? She's very, what's the term? Non-interventionist.
Isolationist?
Well, in some cases, the terms can be semi-synonymous, I suppose. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, because as far as no economic policy, she may be very open to, that. I don't think she's a total isolationist, but us getting involved in any foreign wars unless we absolutely need to, I think she'd be against. My understanding. It's not like I've super duper researched her.
Yeah, I think Obama already paved the path forward for people who were against the gay marriage in the past but are now for it. I believe the rhetorical quip is his view has evolved. So as long as she says her views have evolved, then she'll be in the good graces of
what she did.
A notable amount of her political party, just not the far left.
That's true, because the far left was eating her. I said eating her ass. No, I mean they were chewing her out. They were chewing her out on Twitter really bad.
Thankfully, for the time being, the far left on Twitter is not representative of the voting base.
Apparently not, because Biden's leading in the polls for the Democratic side.
Oh yeah, that's the very like voting 101. Older people vote in higher amounts than younger people. And let's face it, Twitter is not the it has a demographic trend, as do most technological everythings.
They just need to put out online voting.
God, no.
Okay.
Are you fucking insane?
A little bit. But if you wanted to get... just hear me out. Yes, would it be insecure as hell for the first bits of it? Yeah, it would be. I wouldn't trust it
for
at
its
all.
entire lifetime, for the remainder of this nation's life?
Right, exactly. I mean, if you, I should have phrased that a bit better. I just blurted it out in my head. I'm like, online voting. So online voting would get younger voters into to vote way more than having to sit and play.
That's exactly
in general, younger voters don't care about politics. That's the bigger issue there.
And I think a lot vote on emotion.
Yeah.
Historically, younger voters have not cared about politics. I honestly do not know how much that has changed due to the social media era. But by and large, that trend, from my understanding, still holds true.
Well, if you think about it, even with this, and just sticking on the social media era and its effect on the political outcome, last election was very heavily towards, at least in the social media space, it was very much headed towards a Bernie Sanders or a Hillary Clinton side or something like that. And majority of that towards Bernie. And then, all of a sudden DNC is like, nope, we're going with Hillary. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then no one wanted to vote. And then all of a sudden we all know what happens next.
Yeah, no, there was no excitement for Hillary outside of like certain places in the DNC. Like no one fucking wanted her.
Oh yeah, and lobbyists.
The Democrats didn't want her.
Too. The lobbyists definitely wanted her.
If they did a piss poor job. And
well, because they thought it was a given.
You remember that Lena Dunham, right?
What?
The interview that Hillary Clinton did with Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham.
No.
Yeah, my
my biggest issue is if Hillary was I honestly could not trust her discretion in who she surrounded herself with.
No, I would not either.
I mean, I think she would have been a perfectly competent, benign lawmaker. I mean, not lawmaker, president that would pretty much do the status quo, as she gave off every single one of those vibes. But people she associated with, my God, I couldn't stand that. Lena Dunham. Why did you give her Instagram account over to her? Why would you ever give any social media account to someone who says "fuck you" constantly to 60% of the Democratic base? I'm referring to white people.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
there's no logic in politics. That's why it's politics.
Well, there's definitely logic in politics. It's just not the logic that they claim it. That's just not always straightforward. There's always logic in politics.
Whatever it is, man. If you understand it, good, because someone needs to.
It's just it works a lot better.
Science. I've had guys that have been studying this stuff and they don't understand it. So I have no idea.
Yes, because Twitter is where politics is, and Twitter is a gateway to insanity.
So is it logical then? I'm just
it's you're going to boil it down. It's extremely complex. Following Twitter, how its impact on politics. If you really want, Twitter is a hellhole. It complicates everything and makes everything much stupider. If that makes any difference.
Yeah. So what that sounds like to me is mob logic or groupthink.
It's a lot of different cultures vying for.
He said, she said, therefore I should probably say this too, is groupthink, which is kind of Twitter.
It's not just that. Look at the blue. So I think probably one of the biggest issues there is, in general, communications been flattened. Beforehand, people who beforehand did not have a voice in politics, any meaningful voice in politics, a lot of them do have a meaningful voice. In some cases, that's great. In other cases, what would beforehand be some crazy drunken guy screaming about aliens outside of a bar is now a blue check and on Twitter, who is housed in Southern California, talking about QAnon.
Isn't that just Alex Jones?
There's more than just Alex Jones out there, man.
I know, but what you just described, I'm like, are you describing Alex Jones?
So, California is a very large state. I'll be entirely honest. The first person I was thinking of was the cult leader who was claimed he was an alien. I forget if he claimed if he was an alien or not. But he said that he could cure his children's autism using bleach that he was selling to the parents. And I'm thinking, these people now, yes, it's actually worse than it sounds, because it's on the night. Actually, I really don't think I should expand on this in the stream. It is actually a lot worse than it sounds.
Well, we'll take it. We'll take that off stream because I'm a little curious about that.
It's just a lot. It's just memes could only wish they were as horrifying as reality.
Is this the one about bleach enemas?
On the night of a full moon, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It has to be on the night of a full moon.
That's apparently when the bacteria in the gut of children is strongest. The bacteria that causes autism, according to this cult leader. Anyway, it's people like him.
Word.
Oh, by the way, if you look at things about various quacks doing stupid medicine, there's a guy named Jeff Holiday on a YouTube telling a lot of these people.
Anyways, the reason why I mentioned that guy is because it's morons like him who have a much larger platform now. You get enough people supporting something, people like him will also spout about QAnon, and it influences politics. You never really had that beforehand. The crazies and not crazies are all on the same playing field, socially.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get at there. I just
Okay.
kind of elaborated too much on a very specific brand of crazy.
Right. It's like, yeah, technically I can do the complex. Socially, not so much. Gotta hit me with the basics, dude. But
Yeah.
I did, but that's still good. That was all good though to know.
Yeah, it's. Let's change the topic because now my mind's preoccupied about when I first read about I think that cult leader. God. So how about the Mets?
So California breeds a lot of crazy cult leaders. I'll just say that.
Is it?
Why do they have to be so stupid?
I mean, Hollywood is there, and I mean,
I'm from California, and I say that. So yes, take that. What you will.
Why do they have to be so unfathomably stupid?
Well,
Why
why did we Google this?
Because it's actually a little worse than I've already stated.
It is.
All I gotta say about California is in Superman 1, the first Superman movie, Lex Luthor did nothing wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Gosh.
You guys might get a kick out of this. I've been talking with my advisor while I've been doing this, trying to get my graduation stuff figured out. And I said, yeah, this has been one heck of a day. And she's like, hopefully tomorrow's better. I'm like, it's all good. I just need to hack something. Everything will be fine. She got a good laugh out of that. So there's a subject change for you. Let's just get back to doing what we all love to do. And that's just break things, defend things, make the world a somewhat safer place in terms of information security.
Yeah.
It's not worrying about this political BS. Computers are going to still be there. We'll still have jobs. All that. As long as you can do the work, I don't care.
Bit of an update from a stream we had several weeks ago. I mentioned that as far as Article 13, the European Union, that the one possible final chance to stop it before it got enshrined in the policy was the European Council. The European Council, while there was a flip vote against Article 13, did not have enough votes to defeat it, and Article 13 did indeed pass its final hurdle to becoming policy in the European Union.
Yep. So if you
within
have
2 years, my understanding is each of the member states, nations, need to implement the law. If I recall, I forget if it was Italy or France. One of the two, I believe, were the biggest cheerleaders. For Article 13, and is publicly talking about how they want to be the first one out with the law, that with their interpretation of the law to be a standard bearer about how all other nations and the European Union should do it.
That sounds way different from Italy in the past, from what I understood it as. So that sounds more like France then.
Well,
it could very well be. Probably.
I don't know. I'm sitting at a computer. I could just Google this.
you'll notice some interesting people running for, what is it called, MEPs?
I can't hear you, dude.
All right, I'll have to wait till I'm out of the bathroom. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. It was France. It was France.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, France was actually the one.
Italy's on the brink of actually leaving the EU. They just need to put in a policy. But
so is Germany.
Germany's ahead of the EU.
Germany wants to leave the EU because they're paying for everything and not getting shit for it in return.
And the thing is, given how much they have money sunk in there, their goal is to have pretty much every other nation be beholden to them, because financially.
That sounds like the greatest scam in all of human history.
If Germany sees any way to salvage this, I mean, they have every incentive to keep it going, so long as they see a bright side over the horizon.
I mean, if either Germany or France pulls out, that's pretty much it for the EU, because they're the only ones really giving anything back. Everyone else is operating at a net loss.
But to confirm it was France was the biggest cheerleader, and also the reason why they were also the reasons why Germany flipped their vote from against Article 13 to being for Article 13.
So, but you were talking about Germany basically leading things in a lot of ways. They fought 2 world wars and didn't succeed in conquering Europe. But
but big but there.
But I cannot lie.
Yes, big but they now basically run the European Union. So take that.
So we will see.
Make love not make politics not work.
So we will see how terrible Article 13 will be again within 2 years, and see if there will be any blowback that will extend beyond the European Union. There are fears that some companies may change their business models to try to find the cheapest way to operate that and still comply with all the member states' implementation of Article 13, and that those company services might in turn be crippled for US and Australian and New Zealand and every other users as well.
Yep.
Gosh. I really do hope Axel Voss loses the election. He needs to be made an example of. He needs to be made an example of for some chief individual responsible for Article 13 passing. He needs to lose his position and lose political position. I do not know enough about. My understanding is that there's an election coming up relatively soon, but I have no idea what the likelihood of him being reelected is.
Both Mark Meacham and Carl Benjamin are European listeners. Well, I should say my British listeners.
So, yeah, Carl Benjamin, Sergeant of Akkad. Yeah, going on to that topic. I've seen the hard-on that so much the alt-right has for him is just astounding.
He did keep sending them interracial gay porn, so if they got a hard-on, that says something about him.
Touche. But I just keep seeing them. They hate him. They want him to lose so badly. Oh my gosh. But then again, some of the things I'm hearing, some of the rumors I'm hearing, makes it sound as if so does everyone else, as in so everyone else wants him to lose as well. And then there was a third party that says this is the most expensive or elaborate way I've ever heard of someone trying to get unbanned from Twitter. Because Sargon was banned from Twitter a while back, and Twitter tends to not ban politicians. So if he gets a politician, then logic being he would be unbanned.
And supposedly he wasn't even running his own election account.
I have no idea about that.
Still funny.
Yeah, I gotta admit that
I pulled a Sargon. I pulled a Sargon of Akkad or whatever. I pulled that today actually on some unlucky guy that tried to fish me. Got a fish in my personal account and quickly went to Bitly and found a little bit of a goatsy and sent that back to him and saying like, "Hey, can you actually reset my password? It's in this document link here."
Oh, I used to have a thing where if someone looked at my robots.txt, there'd be a secret and a private. And if you went to one of those, it would redirect you to, I think at one time, it kept changing because sites go down. It probably doesn't work right now. But it would send you to either Lemon Party or One Man, One Jar.
Oh God, that dude died from that. Oh,
But on Saga of Akkad, if nothing else, he's getting some good YouTube content out of it because some of the discussions he's having with people as he's going around campaigning are actually pretty interesting. That's just my 2 cents.
cool. I bring up the bar stuff, but I don't know enough about it to really contribute anything to it. With Anthony Barr not, when this just happened today, he's not going to testify again? Question mark. Whatever. I still have to read the Mueller report in its entirety before I have anything to say on that. Because I do not trust what people say. I have to make my own decisions, which everyone else should be doing, actually. Read the whole thing. All right. So, Adrian.
Yeah.
What Did you go back to the bathroom?
No, I was refilling my vape.
Ah, okay.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. Do you have any cons that you are going to be going to within the month of May, which we are now in? It's May Day.
I need to double check, but I think it's just NolaCon.
Okay. Also, everyone that is wanting to go to DerbyCon this year, tickets go on sale noon on May 4th. So when you start seeing
This Saturday.
So if you want to go to DerbyCon and you want to go get tickets and you start seeing Star Wars memes and it's past noon, you better start buying stuff right away. Because May the 4th is also Star Wars Day. Or is it May 5th? Is it the 4th or the 5th? It's the 4th.
May the 4th be with you, yes.
And at noon, allegedly.
Allegedly at noon.
Well, okay. I think last year he didn't do it exactly on time because previous years, every year, he did 15 minutes early. A lot of people knew this, but some people didn't. So
Well, I got in on it 15 minutes early. I don't know why anybody acts surprised, but
yeah, it sold out before it was officially supposed to go on 2 years ago. Yeah, 2017 people were pissed about that. So I think in 2018 he did open it up exactly on time and or close to it. So we'll see what happens. Now, personally, the plan I would have liked to have done is people who were there for the first few cons, send them a notice first that, hey, tickets on sale, motherfucker. But you know, that's my bias.
Yeah. Hey Adrian, can you snag a ticket for me?
Oh, dude, you know how many people ask me that? No, I can't, man.
Yeah, I know. I was being dumb. I'll pay my own way. I'm also getting the rest of my team to buy tickets as well, so we will all be there.
Cool. We'll probably still have the numbers of 3,000 and so forth.
Yeah. But MeadCon. Oh wait, no, you're not drinking. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut back on that.
Yep. I'm sorry. We'll find an alternative solution for another.
That doesn't mean other people can't drink mead in my presence.
No. I mean, it's one of those things.
Tradition, so other people can drink it. Also, though, I have to find a venue for it because remember, I don't have the big ass suite that I did in 2017.
Right. Yeah. Well, we can also figure that out. So.
Yeah, maybe Forgotten will let us use his room again.
No, he might. Yeah, Forgotten Sec.
Well, yeah, Forgotten Sec last year let us use his.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know. We were awfully noisy and shit.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and go. You want to run into me? I'll probably be doing PorchCon for the entirety of it because that was so much fun.
Someone's asking. Jay is asking, does a database list exist, or is there a good way to look up or find IoT devices?
Yeah, Shodan.
Yeah, I'm wanting to learn some hardware fun. Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a couple that you can look at for device and network infrastructure. you're going to look at, or that's externally facing to the rest of the internet that you can index. There's Shodan, and then there's also Census, which is CEN NYS or something like that. That one you can actually do a little bit more information on it, and you can actually go and see Census has a free account that you can make with it, which I strongly suggest you do, because I had a black box pen test that I had to perform where we had to go out and find addresses and then confirm them for the client, so that we could actually begin like testing. So they wanted to see what we could see and then attack it that way. I got most of them off of Census because of IP blocks. A lot of times companies will block off a certain range of IPs, and Shodan does not show that, and Census does, which I found to be very helpful. And I will also post that in the YouTube chat in the show notes.
I put Census in the YouTube chat just now.
Yeah. Nope, that's not it.
No, that's not it?
No, I'm trying to find it to put in the show notes. NYS or something like that. I don't remember. Census? I don't remember. God dang it. Totally forgetting what it was. I'm totally misspelling it. And you want to just put what you put in the chat, and I'll tell you if it was right.
Let's see.
So for some reason. Okay, cool. I somehow ended up with searches for a wiki on a known furry. Okay. Do not misspell that, guys. Oh boy. Sunny the Husky. All right. Let's see.
I'm sorry, I just kind of went out for a moment looking at some Sonic the Hedgehog movie memes, and I come back to hear you talking about furries.
Yeah, I was trying to find Census, and I'm having the tool that I'm trying to.
You mean Census.io?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how it's spelled, and I can't spell
CENSYS.
CENSYS.
See, okay, cool. One at a time, please.
Charlie, Echo, November, Sierra, Yankee, Sierra.
Yankee Sierra. Thank you. Yeah, all right. So census.io. And I'm putting that in chat right now. But yeah, awesome tool. Love it.
There is also
it's free.
a third tool. Let me try to get the list here written down somewhere.
The OSINT tools.
It's an alternative to Census and Shodan.
So you got Census there, and then you got Shodan. Shodan's.io, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to remember. Let's look up Google.
I was looking somewhere.
IO. But if you want to do like people like searching, melissa.com is a good one. There's a couple other ones. I can actually get a full list of them because I just did OSINT training, so woohoo. I've got notes to share with the people. But yeah, those are the ones that you're going to look for if you're looking at network infrastructures. Someone got an email.
That'd be me. Chad, actually, it's not so much email. It's actually a Facebook message.
Someone got a message.
I'm collecting patches to put on backpacks and so forth to offend people. So the next one I got is the Gadsden flag. I got ordered.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Zoom-I.
Zoom-I. throw in the show notes. Cool. Do we have any other questions in chat? I should probably just open up YouTube.
No, I'm just too busy laughing at Sonic.
Yeah, that's like the hero that we didn't want and the movie we didn't need.
No, see, I never. I'm big into hedgehogs, but I don't like Sonic. Sonic just doesn't.
Well, if the original Sonic didn't do it for you, then maybe the new Sonic in the movie will do it for you. My understanding of its design is they wanted to give a more Western appeal, so they try to be a little too literal in the anthropomorphic hedgehog kind of thing, trying to make it a little too human in place where it shouldn't be. And the music choices were just on point. I could not have picked better.
Did anyone? I didn't watch it. All I've seen are the memes, and I'm like, oh no.
It's just wonderful. You gotta watch the trailer. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, Jade, to truly answer your question a little more in depth on methodology, I would look at Shodan to see specific versions and then of IoT software that you're looking for. So if you're looking for like Alexas that are just out on the internet and then trying to see like, okay, is this in a company's environment? I would first go to Shodan, pick a couple, see what IP that is, take it to Census, and then see if it's within the ISP's designated CIDR or like their subnet then. Because then you'll be able to get a full picture of where that is and also who has it. So you might be able to get some more information that way. But that's OSINT. So it's not, I don't know, legality-wise. Legality-wise, I think it's the same as if you were to be accessing a website. So you just seeing that it's there, that's fine. Beyond that, don't tell me about it. Or anyone else, I guess.
I'm currently vaping some butterbeer.
That sounds nice.
It's not bad. I guess it's I'm not sure what butterbeer is supposed to be.
Hopefully it's the flavor and not actual butterbeer.
It's the flavor. I'm not sure what goes in butterbeer, but it tastes like a long time back I had something called butterbeer at a local restaurant, and it does taste kind of like that drink does. I guess butterscotch and some other stuff is what the flavor is supposed to be. Wrong pipe.
Wait, what?
I said wrong pipe, but I kind of choked on it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go down the air hole. I don't know how you made it go down the stomach hole, but okay.
I guess that is correct. I guess it doesn't inhale too much. This might be one that's the higher nicotine varieties, which causes more throat hit. Although it has less. If I really order, this has less polypropylene glycol, which polypropylene glycol is supposed to cause that back of the throat hit, which truthfully I don't like.
Yeah. So it's the PG level is what gives you the throat hit. If you have more PG, you get a throat hit or more of a throat hit. High VG, which is vegetable glycol, I think, or glucose, vegetable glucose. It's basically like vegetable oil almost. That's what makes it smooth. So when you have a high VG, it also gets more clouds though.
Yeah, I like the high. Well, the clouds I find soothing to watch. I only get my other tank functioning, but I got one of these Mesh Pro tanks, and eGads it's pretty good for a cloud production. Decent coil. I replaced the coil in my new one and my new tank, and I can't get the damn thing to stop leaking. And I've tried the high VG, so it wasn't. It shouldn't be too hot when I first put it in. I just don't have something screwed in the right place, or one of my O-rings may be bad, I think.
That might be it.
I'll look into it.
I've had a couple of buddies who have had that issue with a couple of their tanks. That's why they give you a bunch of O-rings when you get the package.
And I suppose you can order replacements online.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Whole tanks I've ordered. I haven't really looked for O-rings specifically. I also had to order some new mouthpieces because I lost the one that came with my little V8 stick. I have two vaporizers, if you don't count the little pin ones. And the V8 stick is like this big thick battery, but still smaller than my other vaporizer, and it works decently. I like it. It's USB powered or like USB chargeable, and you can use it while it's plugged into USB. So if you want to use a USB battery with it, it's not the same production as my RHA. I think it's RHA 220. Though these guys 220 watts. I mean, is there a tank that takes that?
Yeah. There are some. I don't recommend it though, because that's gonna be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna take a hit. That's a lot of vapor coming at you really quick.
Yeah, but the third tank I got in here is rated, I think, between 80 and 110, and I think I have it sitting at I have it sitting at 91.8.
Yeah, no, not that much.
But yeah, it seems to work okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't gain most in the camera.
And black.
Oh, no spoilers. Has anybody watched Endgame yet?
No.
I started watching the theater, then I realized, oh shit, I got an appointment. So I ended up finishing it. I ended up traveling to the future.
I watched it.
I went into the future using the quantum realm and got a DVD and brought it back and watched it. Anyway, you watched it. What do you think?
I'll be honest. I like the original Avengers better. This was not a bad movie to wrap it up. Some things that happened, I don't really find satisfying. I don't really find a satisfying explanation for why they happened. But yes, as far as a big spoiler, Thanos does indeed kill Dumbledore.
And
okay.
And Ant-Man defeats him by expanding his ass.
Yes.
I loved that meme so much.
All right, before we go off air, do we have anything else?
There's a Buzz Lightyear and Woody meme that is perfect for that. I gotta find that. Ant-Man, Buzz, and Woody meme. I gotta find that real quick.
If you haven't watched the Sonic trailer, I cannot recommend that highly enough.
As in, it's very bad.
Oh my god!
This is even better.
See, I've never watched the Sonic cartoon series, so I don't know much about it.
Well, I think you probably know enough to know that the trailer is wrong.
All right, send a link, and we'll actually watch it.
All right. Well, look at my screen real quick. You should have aimed for the head. I wasn't aiming for the head.
Oh.
This wasn't the one I was looking for.
Childhood ruined.
The one I was looking for is not in here. It was one where Buzz was Iron Man and Woody was Ant-Man. This one. Tony Stark explains to Ant-Man where he has to climb up inside of Thanos to defeat him in Endgame.
That's it. Send me a link to this really bad Sonic trailer. We'll actually watch it.
I just put it in the Hangouts chat.
Okay, let me find that one.
That is the one thing from my childhood. The one thing left that's not been so profoundly perverted. Okay, one of the two things left that's not been so profoundly perverted and taken from me: memes. No matter all the other hells that have gone on in the past, few years, the one thing that's still around that's just thriving are memes, and they've not yet been meaningfully commercialized.
They try. I know.
They try.
Yeah, one person tried.
Oh, many try, but very, very few succeed. Thank
I
you.
mean, that's kind of did that with Borderlands. With the latest Borderlands game was very meme-tastic, which has made it very cringy.
But
Anyways, I think
like
Adrian's going to play it.
But we'll watch it. I'll mute here.
Oh God.
Okay, so they're doing like a Smurfs thing where they bring a cartoon character into the real world.
No, apparently he's an alien. He's an alien hedgehog who has traveled to Earth for some reason.
Question: was that the way it was in the cartoon?
No.
Okay.
Gotta go fast. 20 minutes ago, an energy surge knocked down power across the entire Pacific Northwest. This needs someone.
This soundtrack.
What we're dealing with. You're not suggesting who I think you're suggesting. We have no choice. What the? Are you in charge here? Yes, I am. No! I'm wrong. I'm in charge. Allow me to clarify. In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify. Agent Stone?
The doctor thinks you're basic.
Listen, pal, I don't know if you realize...
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name?
Benny?
Nobody cares! SFPD! Meow? Oh, come on. Okay, pal, I want answers. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet. Oh, is that all you got? No, but thank you for asking. Uh-oh. Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick. Look at this! I took 9 million steps today.
Ah, the cringe.
How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine. It's not your child. Smells like body spray in an old ham sandwich.
What the heck?
All right, let's get a palate cleanse for that one.
All right.
the music was just... Oh my God. Who the hell associates Sonic with gangsters?
I don't know. It's what the kids are into these days, right?
Yes. You know, let's just go for a smorgasbord of people who grew up to the 80s and 90s stuff. What was big back then? All the gangster stuff? Oh, yeah, and Jim Carrey.
Yeah, right. Just like full 90s, like full 90s flashback right there, man.
Ace Ventura is tackling the intergalactic hedgehog.
Oh my God.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
I'm trying to find the one I really like. A hedgehog actually can get up and book it for such small legs. This is a great one running around in it, like I don't know where it is, a college campus or something.
That's in an apartment.
I know. I wouldn't know where the one is that I saw before. Because he's much faster. Or she, I don't know. I don't want to misgender the hedgehog.
That sounds like a really bad TV show, misgendered the hedgehog. Oh man.
Oh, what was one I had? I had one on my Twitter here recently that was really good. Let me see. Yeah, I know this is captivating live streaming, isn't it?
I'm surprised that 5-ish people are watching it.
Well, I hope they enjoyed the Sonic trailer.
Yeah, well, we're getting
probably-
demonetized. That's just
Oh,
fine.
how many people recognize this actor?
I do not. I do not.
Lee Marvin.
Who?
I'm also like 12.
Lee Marvin used to be in a lot of restaurants. He died sometime, I think, in the late 80s, if I recall correctly.
Ah.
Well, what is the damn? Oh, here it is.
This is a spiky floof, and it's got many names, like the ouch mouse, cactus hamster, heb
Can't go full screen there.
hob, or heber. There's also the land urchin, hairbrush rat, and the extra scratchy loofah. Not recommended for human bath time use. Spiky floofs have many features, like little lenses and the neutral zone, also called the so soft but still dangerous zone. They've also got noodle noses, but be careful when booping or you might get the nibble needles. And of course, there's the most distinguishing feature of all, the pokey stabbies, also called prickles. Here's a whole bunch of prickles, and here's a jar of pickles. Spiky floofs do adorable activities, like hedgehogs, feasting, and doing the rollouts.
Auto hogs, rollout.
If it's running at incredible high speeds, it's Sonic. Spiky floofs also get stuck in things, like in your shoes, but they'll also poop in your shoes, or in your lawn, or in your hand, or in your bed. And finally, spiky floofs are the very best at one thing, looking sharp. I mean, look how sharp that is. Hold on, that's not a spiky floof. That's gooey fiery. Human. And anything else with Lucid Chart.
Lucid Chart to get some free advertisement. All right, cancel. Snakes and nope ropes. Oh, this might be cute too. This is more for Liz.
If you're afraid of snakes, then it's a nope rope. Like if you go to the bathroom and you see this, nope rope. And if a nope rope has poisonous venom, then it's a danger noodle, like the shake snake and the cobra. Do not boop, or you will get the hurt juice. But if you love the snacks, then it's a boop noodle. Look at that cute snoot. Deserves a boop. Snacks also have peepers, noodle necks, smelly flickers, and nom-nom seekers. Those are for finding cheese boys. Other names for nope ropes are slippery tube dudes, hazard spaghetti, noodles, caution ramen, and murder spagurter. Whatever you call them, just remember, no step on snack. There are many kinds of snacks, like Big Thick Boy, Slim Boy, also known as the Judgmental Shoelace, Original Snack, Uggo But Still Levo Snack, and Screaming Worm Boy. And can't forget the lovely Noodle Ball. Look at that little pupper face. Noodles have many activities. Snacks eat snacks, ropes do scopes. When they're tired, they do a yawn. Sometimes snacks wear a sweater, and if you're lucky, they'll wear a hat. Top hat, party hat, this hat, that hat, wizard hat. Visualize your snacks and anything else with Lucid Chart.
Nope rope.
No, Kansas. I want to watch the live. I wish they would record the live shows. I never get to see those. Anyway, anybody else got anything else for the cast?
Nope.
I am tapped out.
Well, folks, I think we'll call it a day, and I'll leave the chat running and just turn off the stream. But thanks for joining us, and see you next Wednesday.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Back